Tuesday, July 28, 2026, at approximately 4:27 p.m. local time, the ground beneath Kumamoto Prefecture in southwestern Japan began to shift. Deep below the surface, a sudden rupture occurred as tectonic pressure sheared the Earth apart, releasing a massive burst of kinetic energy. Within fractions of a second, the Japan Meteorological Agency triggered its earthquake early warning system, broadcasting alerts to millions of civilian phones before the heaviest shaking reached the surface. While JR Kyushu immediately halted its bullet trains, a tsunami advisory was issued for the low-lying coastal regions of the Ariake and Yatsushiro seas, warning of waves up to 1 meter. In a matter of seconds, an entire region transitioned from a quiet afternoon to navigating a landscape of moving earth, immediate evacuation orders, and stalled infrastructure. Preliminary data placed the earthquake at a magnitude 7.1. But the official intensity map from the JMA revealed a much more alarming statistic. For the hardest-hit areas, the quake was rated a Shindo 7. On Japan's proprietary seismic scale, a 7 is the absolute highest possible level of shaking. A 7.1 magnitude event is a significant quake, but it is not a global record breaker. This raises a scientific question. How can a moderately large release of energy trigger a maximum intensity localized disaster? To find the answer, we have to look at magnitude. This measures the absolute total energy released at the earthquake's underground source. The Shindo scale, however, measures seismic intensity, essentially the violent physical shaking felt at a specific point on the surface. While an earthquake only has one magnitude, it creates many different Shindo intensities. These values are determined by ground acceleration and how long the shaking actually lasts. A Shindo 7 is extreme. The shaking is violent enough that standing becomes impossible, and even structures built to high standards can be completely destroyed. Magnitude is what the Earth releases, but intensity is what humans experience. This explains the discrepancy. The epicenter was located 4 kilometers southeast of the city of Uki, but the final deciding factor was depth. The rupture occurred only 10 kilometers, or about 6 miles, below the surface. In a deeper earthquake, the energy must travel through kilometers of the Earth's crust, which allows the seismic waves to bleed off and dissipate before they hit the populated surface. In Kumamoto, there was no room for that energy to fade. The 7.1 magnitude release slammed into the surface crust at nearly full force. The shallow depth acted as a massive multiplier, violently concentrating the energy to create a localized maximum intensity event. Currently, emergency services are assessing structural damage. While there are no confirmed mass casualties, the immediate assessment of transportation and public facilities is ongoing. Because the original rupture was so shallow, the risk of severe aftershocks remains high as the fractured crust continues to settle. Events like this are a geographic baseline for Japan, which accounts for roughly 18% of the world's earthquakes. This is because the archipelago sits on the western edge of the Ring of Fire, directly atop a convergence of 4 major tectonic plates. For 125 million people, these intense seismic jolts are a built-in feature of their environment. The Kumamoto event follows a tremor that hit northern Japan just 3 months earlier, in April 2026. That April tremor was significant enough to trigger a rare advisory warning of an increased risk of an 8.0 or stronger megaquake, a warning that was only lifted after a week of observation. These combined events suggest that magnitude is only the starting point of a much more variable calculation of risk. Ultimately, the impact of a rupture is decided by the kilometers between the hypocenter and the front door.